You ever notice some people always have a guy? Need a lawyer? They know a guy. Need a mechanic? They know a guy. Need something you probably shouldn't even be asking about? They definitely know a guy. I've been that person most of my life. Not online, not referrals, real people I've sat with, watched, learned from. So this podcast is simple. I bring those people to the table. These are people I actually trust in spaces where trust is usually the problem. Today is one of those days. Because if you go online right now and look up anything around mantras, sadhana, gemstones, or spirituality, you'll find answers. You'll also find a lot of confidence. Not always the same thing. So instead of guessing, I figured I'd bring in someone I know. Someone I've watched work, someone I've seen turn people away when there's money involved, which is not how most of the internet operates. Tirth Doshi is a practitioner of sadhana, Vedic astrology. It's good to have you.
Good to be here.
So, before we get into any of this, what were you actually doing with your life before getting involved in all these sadhanas and astrology and readings? You made quite a name for yourself.
Yeah. Just like any normal other guy, I guess. I was just, trying to make the money, had a normal life, get a degree, car, house, whatnot. Actually moved to Canada for my studies and whatnot. Just pretty normal life you can guess for any normal person, pretty much.
Okay. And at that point, what did you believe about spirituality?
Mainly this is a sham, to be honest. I was like the guy who would be like hating on all the rituals and stuff that people were doing, thinking this is all nonsense. Like, why are you doing all this? Like, what's the point? This is not giving you anything. And rather than believe in some, God or whatever who might that be, I rather believe in myself rather than all of this. But as the years passed by and as I got deeper into all of this, my understanding was super wrong and things have changed.
So, this wasn't always the plan?
Sorry?
So, this wasn't always the plan?
No, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can ask many of the people who are into this field. Usually, they are kind of drawn into this by some incident or another, or through their destiny, you might call it. But usually, people they don't start with this thing unless obviously you have been born into a lineage or something. That's a different story. But most of the people and these sadhus or friends in the circle that I know, they never started with this thing. Usually, they were just normal people. I'm still a normal person, I would say. But in general, they don't usually start with this thing. It's just that something happens in the life, where they realize that there's something more to this world, something more to your life and all, and then they get pulled towards it. And that's where the journey begins, I guess.
Okay. So, what changed? What was the moment where this stopped being interesting and started feeling real for you?
Well, it was not one moment, I would say. It was a couple of different moments. But let's say that I've been doing mantras for a long period of time because I was born in Gujarat and here we worship the, what you call it, the Shakti or the Mata. And since I was young, I've been, hearing all kind of the stories and the mantras and the stotrams and prayers, whatever you want to call it. So when you're grown up with this, you kind of carry it with you wherever you go. So in general, yes, when I was living in Canada, I used to kind of do all of this, mantras and all, but this is like a basic practice, nothing that I would say shady or nothing that dangerous or nothing that different from what other people were doing, just the, normal, you might call it worship and rituals. It was until the day where I would say one day, when I was living in Edmonton, I found this guy online who I've been following for some amount of time, and he was basically what you call it a tantra sadhak, a person with doing like all kind of Vashikaran and this and whatnot. Initially, I thought obviously this was all nonsense, but the guy had a big following, I would say. So my curiosity spiked up, and one day he messaged me like, "Does anyone want to learn any tantras and all of this?" So obviously, I reached out to that guy, and the guy told me that okay, before I teach you anything, there are gonna be a few tests that you have to pass through. So one of the tests, the very first test was that I would have to go to a cremation ground, basically, and send the guy a video that okay, I'm here. At the time, I was working in Edmonton. So in the middle of the city of Edmonton, there is this cremation ground. So after my shift, I used to work in the hotel. So after my shift, I went to this cremation ground one time. I took a simple video, sent it to him, and then he's like, "Okay, tomorrow you are gonna come here with a mat to sit there, and he's gonna give me certain mantras to do." and I'm gonna have to do like a whole video recording of the same thing and send it to that guy. So initially, the first time I went there, it was super easy to, just go and take a video. That's not a hard part. But then you start thinking, well, this is super shady because in the Western culture, you cannot just go to any cemetery and, do all of these things. You can get arrested and all kind of things. You don't want to be like a trespasser or something. Mostly
For
if you're
sure.
a immigrant there, right? You don't want to get in trouble there. But obviously, my curiosity got the better of me, and I did go there at the front of the cremation gate. But at this moment, the fear struck in me like, what am I doing here, man? Like, what's going on? This is not like my life, or this is not something I'm supposed to do here. Like, why am I doing this? So I messaged the guy that, hey, I'm not sure. So the guy was pretty strict, I would say, and he just said like, okay, this is the first test, and you already failed one time. I'm gonna give you another last chance. Like, do you wanna do it or not? So I'm like, okay, man, let's go. I'm many things, but I'm not a coward, I would say. Well, yes, I was fearful, but I did run and go in. The guy gave me certain mantras to do. So basically, I sat in front of a cemetery, and nothing that shady. I was just in like, normal clothes and all. And I started chanting the mantra. So after I would say 5 or 10 minutes, I started hearing certain sounds which I was not able to describe properly in my mind or in my ear. There were sounds of some females, I would say, and at that moment, I basically you can say shat my pants basically. I was super scared and I kind of ran away from there and then I messaged the guy like, what did you give me and what is this and all? Like what happened? And eventually it led to other things and all. But that was kind of the first thing where, where my belief was that if there is something which is supernatural or there are ghosts or spirit, that there is also the direct proof that there will be a God, which is like the equivalent force against them, right? It is more of a proving point to myself that if I can go and see some ghosts or spirit or whatever, it also means that our deities and the devatas that we worship and everything else, it must be real up to a certain extent. So that was kind of my introduction to the whole realm of Tantra, you can say, or how I got into these things.
So, was there something you experienced that you couldn't explain away? Was there something specific where after all these experiences, you said, "Hey, I have to move myself towards this"?
But yeah, so I think it was back then when I didn't know that there is something which is called the dasha, basically time period in the Vedic astrology. So I had entered a specific dasha according to my own Vedic astrological chart. Very next day, both of my kidneys failed, and I was sent into ICU in Canada, and stuff happened.
Oh my
Years
God.
later, yeah, years later, like although it was one of the worst things that happened to my life, it was also one of the best things because it gave me the time and opportunity to come back to India and getting to all of this, it was almost like I was being called here due to my disease to get into a different path of life. But other thing being that years later, when I was looking at my chart normally, and then I see that, wait a minute, this Dasha just started like, 1 or 2 days ago. And within a day or two, I went into this health crisis. And then I was like, I mean, yeah, we've been doing astrology for a very long time at this point, but I was less like, okay, the planets are there and the deities are there and so on. But this is not like, that applicable to day life or something. It shouldn't be like, it's like Western people say, oh, I'm a Gemini or, I'm a Aries or something. It's just like personality traits and all that. I was not like it is going to be that deep or that accurate where within one day my whole life is changing because of one time period or something, which you can very easily see through the Vedic astrology. So that's when I thought, okay, man, like I can't explain how this happened, but I need to really get deeper into this and study more and all. So that's where I got deeper into the Vedic astrology and so on, I would say.
Yeah, that's usually where people stop calling it a coincidence. Both of your kidneys failing right after this specific time period started. So let's clean something up. Sadhana gets thrown around a lot now. What is it and when is it real?
So again, sadhana is very personalized thing. I would say just something that you are doing on a daily basis with a specific count or let's say specific sankalpa or specific thing that you want to achieve in your mind. Sadhana, you can say, is a procedure where you are producing the energy in your life to get certain things. Now, it could be a moksha, it could be a certain desire that you have. But in general, if you have to sum it up in the easiest, simplest possible way, it is something that you do on daily basis in form of worship towards a particular deity in whatever form you want to. It could be through a mantra, through a yantra, through a tantra, or any other way.
So someone who, for example, goes to church and prays every day, that would be considered like a sadhana for them. Okay.
You can even read the Bible person and therefore even be considered sadhana, all right? Sadhana is not limited to Hinduism or any religion. It's just something you are doing on daily basis, praying to God or something. But it requires certain amount of, discipline and dedication. And it's not like, one day I randomly do it, next day I don't do it. There has to be specific structure to it where regardless of how you're feeling, you are like, okay, this is my time with God. I'm gonna follow it regardless of what happens. At that point, you are going into sadhana, not the online stuff where, oh, I'm gonna do this much for one day and forget it. And the next month I'm going to do it when I feel like it. That's a different thing.
So, not the version that people see online. What does a normal day actually look like when you're doing sadhana for yourself?
So many people might not like it, but it's extremely boring. All right. Sadhana is not some magical pill where, oh, I'm doing a mantra and I'm going to start flying or, I'm going to start seeing the ghosts. It is as boring as it gets. Nothing happens. All right. You can do it for 6 months, 1 year, 2 year. Nothing is going to change in your life up to that extent. And it is not some magical cure to your problems, unfortunately, which is so much sprayed out there on the podcast and everything. It is just something you're doing to get a specific goal. I understand that, but it is not going to magically change your life in a month or 2 months. Yes, people can have certain experiences, but in general, day to day life, it's extremely boring. It's something that you don't want to do, but you're still doing it, basically, I would say.
So, break that down for me just a little bit more. Like, what is a demand from someone?
So basically, ideally, you would need to have your, you can say, bhakti, what we call it, or devotion towards a particular deity. And sadhana can be of many forms, right? Like certain people, they do the sadhana in a form of fasting, where I'm going to fast for certain days of the month. People can also do the sadhana in the form of the mantra japa, where I'm going to get a mantra from a guru, or I'm going to find a mantra online, which is super famous now. And then I'm going to start doing the mantra daily basis because maybe I heard that, oh, if I do this mantra, I'm going to get rich. If I do this mantra, I'm going to get a girl or something. And people start doing it on the day-to-day basis. It's very simple. Like for everyone is different depending on the level of the person you're asking to, right? For some people, they say totally celebrate throughout their life when they start the sadhana and all. For some people, it's going to, all the cremation ground and on the left-hand path. For some people, it's going to temple and all. So it is very individualistic. And you cannot say, okay, this person is right or that person is right. The end is like what you define for yourself on day-to-day life of what you are doing and all. But in general, it requires not lying to yourself. I would say the first thing that you cannot be like, "Oh, I'm doing sadhana every Sunday, every Tuesday." No, it doesn't. It has to be have a specific amount of rules and some structure, and hopefully that you have a guru or something.
So, not exactly something you squeeze in between emails, right? All right. So, let's get into what's happening right now. There's a lot of content in this space, and you kind of touched on it for a second. Some of it sounds very certain. What's the biggest lie being told right now?
So the big lie I would say is more of a whole multi-billion-dollar industry at this point, right? Where I would say started around COVID, or you can say probably around 2023 when all of these podcasters and stuff started coming up. Before that, this was like the boring thing, right? No one would even look at this. Like you would
Mm.
see some Brahmin doing some Vedic ritual and all. You would say, oh, you go, study engineering or something. This is all old age belief and stuff. But now that all of this is out in the front of people, it's mainly monopolized, right? People think that, oh, I'm gonna do this sadhana, my life is gonna improve. I'm gonna get everything. I'm gonna become some tantric and got all this spirits and stuff. And people are start gonna liking me and whatnot. So that's one of the thing where people are assuming that just by doing this sadhana, all of the life problems can be solved. Other thing is that nowadays is along with the sadhana, the bunch of the other problems have come. Name it gemstones, name it Rudraksha, name it Yantra, name it the online pujas, name it the online sadhana, name it the whole realm of the, finding a guru, online guru, this guru, that guru, paying someone to give you the mantra and all. You name it, there's like 100 different things that have come out of this because all of this is now in the open and I'm pretty sure it's going to increase as the time goes on.
So, what are people being sold that's just straight up wrong, and doesn't have to be like material? What are people telling people that is just absolutely incorrect?
So one thing is definitely I would say anytime you see any online Apsara sadhana, let's say Apsara is basically like you can think of a celestial dancer or something, or a very beautiful girl like a spirit or something, or a Yakshini sadhana or a Pisachini sadhana, or any of those lines you see online. Pay 5,000, get a mantra for Apsara. You can make her your own wife. Just do the sadhana for 9 days, And then you will have this magical entity with you who's going to give you all kind of spiritual powers, all right? So this is complete nonsense. Like if you see back in the day, people or any yogis or someone would have to go Mount Everest or something or Himalayas for 30, 40, 50 years. And then they would get a fraction of all of this. And you're thinking that, oh, if I pay someone online 5,000 rupee or, $100 or something, he's going to give me a mantra. And I am such a capable person that I'm going to get all the spirits like the Apsara and the Pisachini under me, or I'm going to do some Vashikaran of some random person for God knows what. So that's one of the biggest thing, right? Like stop paying for all the nonsense. Like use your brain, please.
So when you scroll and see certain things, what makes you immediately go, yeah, no?
Yeah, so obviously the first thing would be Apsara. Second thing, I mean, is extremely famous. All the kind of the Vashikarans, like, do this ritual, get your girlfriend back, get your boyfriend back, make her fall in love with you. This is that. This is all nonsense, all right? I mean, yes, there are people capable of doing all of this, but if I had to take a guess, it would probably, I would say, maybe 50 people all over India, all right? So if you think that among that 50 people all over India, someone is that, that free, that unemployed to sell all this online for merely 5,000 rupees, that's like complete nonsense. Anyone who says that they can fix 100% of your problems, all right, and run away from that, there is no such thing in the world. No such, you can say, gemstone, Rudraksha, or Sadhana that's going to fix all of your problems. If anything, all of this will increase your problems, all right? But all of these things work, let's say even sadhana I'm taking up, it's not gonna banish your problems. It is gonna speed up your problem. It's gonna make you face them rather than, I'm doing the mantra now, nothing can happen to me. That's not gonna happen.
So it's impressive how many life-changing answers come with a checkout page.
Yeah, pretty much.
So this is the part that nobody advertises. What's the worst mistake someone can make getting into this?
All right. So the worst mistake is that, you see all of this because it's all in open now. You see all of this, Devi, deity, all the names of, all the Mahavidyas and this and that and biggest puja you can name. All of this is online. And they think that, okay, I'm going to do this and my life is going to be such an improvement. I'm gonna find the biggest deity. Why should I start with, some easy form of the god? Why don't I go to the highest form? I will find the highest form, and then I'm gonna do the mantra of that deity rather than just taking the baby steps. They wanna go to the end point. They think, oh, I'm gonna start with that end thing, and then their life becomes pretty hell, and they don't understand that this is not the way you go with. All right. Same thing with the people that they are trusting a lot of people where, why are you outsourcing your problems to someone else? All right, it's okay to take guidance from someone else and all, but in the end, you have to use your brain and your intellect to make the decision for yourself. You cannot say like, okay, these are my problems, and then some random guy on the internet is gonna tell, okay, you do this one mantra for, 100 rupee, $100, your problems are gone. It's not gonna happen. So this is one of the major things where people are paying a lot and falling for all of these nonsense scams. But at the end of the day, you have to understand the only person who can help you is like you yourself. Yes, there may be certain things that can be done, but you have to keep in mind that there is a level to this. If you're expecting to, pay 1,000 or 2,000, even unless you pay 10 lakh, there's no guarantee in anything in life.
It's a good point. Have you seen someone do this the wrong way and actually have to deal with the consequences?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know many people who have paid for hundreds of dollars to get all kind of Apsara Diksha, Yakshini Diksha, you name it, all right? Like they want to get all this spirits and all because I mean again with the all the how the world is going online and all, and many people they don't have proper relationship and everything, and they think that by using some form of tantra or mantra, I'm gonna get what I want, like the form of love or something. So they have paid. I know a lot of people they have paid thousands, if not lakhs, of rupees to get all these mantras. Other thing I see the big scam ongoing is nowadays in the Rudraks, where people pay thousands of dollars for the bigger Mukhi Rudraksha and thousands of dollars for the gemstones, thousands of dollars to get this puja and that puja and I've seen it fire back on many people where like this person he wanted to do a Vashikaran or certain friend and then he booked his online
Okay,
puja.
let me stop you there. Can you just for our audience explain what a Vashikaran is?
Yeah, for sure. So Vashikaran is one of the tantric practices. Again, it's not a normal or private. You will have to probably find like a yogi or someone to help you get it done, and they won't probably take any interest in your life to help you. But it's basically a practice where you can do to get someone involved in your life, to get someone attached to you, attracted towards you, all of those things. All right. So basically,
Hmm.
it's like you are doing the mantra here. It's like a love spell, basically, using your Western terms. All
Okay.
right. Yeah, so this guy I know he did a Vashikaran online puja on some girl, and within 2 days, all right, he had the worst breakup I would say of his life, and till this day he's single, and then he went to a major depression and whatnot. If I had to give you an example of the Rudraks, same thing. This guy I know from Australia, one of my close friends, a couple years ago before we met, he bought this six Mukhi Rudraksha, all right? And that guy was not celibate. Now, every Rudraksh, you have certain conditions, certain deities you are attached to. Now, you can randomly pick anything, oh, 40 Mukhi, 20 Mukhi, something like that. It has to be compatible with you. So he bought this out of, for anyone who doesn't know, six Mukhi is the Rudraksh for the Lord Skanda or the Kartikeya, who is considered like the Deva Senapati or the god of war of the Hinduism, basically, and he's a celibate. Now, if you take the Rudraks and you are trying to get involved in all kind of hookups and stuff, all right, then that deity is gonna punish you very badly. And that guy had a very bad punishment where he got ED and something, and he had to go to doctors and whatnot. So these things can have really bad impacts.
He got what? I'm sorry.
He got erectile dysfunction. All right,
Oh my God. Really?
I'm
Like,
not joking. Like, yeah, no shit. Like people think I'm joking here, but no, he did the mantra along with the Rudraksh, and then he got involved in some shady activities. And yes, within I would say 2 weeks, he got really bad. He had to take off that Rudraksh, and things got really bad. Same with the
wow.
gemstones, right? I can give you hundreds of examples of people wearing wrong gemstones, getting cancer, getting their spine broken, getting who knows what, man. It's bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you expand on that? Is there like a specific
Yes,
time where
for sure, man.
something critical happened?
Yeah, for sure, man. So another guy, I think he was one of my clients. He had consulted me regarding the gemstones. Now his chart was very peculiar, all right. So unless you know a lot about gemstones and you have studied a lot about this and you have been prescribing it, you wouldn't easily guess that this is not the right thing for you. Like for any obvious astrologer, they gave him the gemstone which is known as red coral. It's basically a gemstone from Mars. I think I have one lying around of it. Yeah. So this is what it looks like if you see. You can see the red one.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's a gemstone from Mars. Basically, you put it on your body, and after putting it on your body, the energy of the Mars increases in your body. All right. So from a normal astrologer standpoint, okay, he was compatible with this, but I had specifically told him, please don't wear it. All right, you are gonna get very big issues in your family. Your father can have issues and whatnot. And he went to some local astrologer and all, and that guy got him the same gemstone. All right, because most of the times, these people, whoever is telling you to buy the gemstones, they're also selling the gemstones, all right? So they're doing their own shop, all right? So there is the interest, conflict of interest, you can say. So anyway, that
Hmm.
guy bought the gemstone, and guess what? Within 1 month, he got cancer.
Wow. Out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
out of nowhere, all right? No family history, nothing. He got cancer. And I think after 4 or 5 months, he came to me that, hey, I'm about to start this chemotherapy and all. And I'm like, I don't see any indications of, cancer or anything in your chart. And then I asked him, like what going on? Like, I think after the last time we talked, what happened? Then he told me, oh, I put it on. And at that moment, I lost my shit. Right? I cursed him so bad because why would he put this thing on? Because this thing, they can have certain amount of energy. They can really impact your life in a positive or a negative way, depending on your chart and how your body is. So then I made him remove the thing, and I think he was doing okay, I would say, after a year or something,
So people are basically pressing buttons without knowing what the machine does.
pretty much. I mean, they are thinking, I mean, I understand where, you want to spend the money and improve your life, but you need to understand by spending the money, these things, they are also capable of destroying your life at the same time.
Yeah, that usually ends well, right? So let's talk about where things get messy.
Yeah.
Gemstones, Rudraksha, remedies. What's actually happening in the world?
So as I mentioned, like since COVID era, now everyone is in the spirituality, all right? Everyone wants to do tantra. Everyone wants to be this agori in the cremation ground and control the spirits and all that. And earlier, these things they used to be very, it was on. You had to go to sampradaya. You had to study for 5, 10 years. Then you get a proper understanding from your guru. Then your guru finally allows you, okay, now you are eligible to consult other people. Nowadays, what's going on? You go on YouTube, oh, how to, what gemstone is good for me? What gemstone is gonna get me more money? How do I get more girls? Here's a Venus gemstone. You wear it, you can get more girls. Okay, I'm gonna honor it. So everything is like this now, and all of these companies, obviously, they know. Like you can take like all the rich people or all the people who are on the SEO and all that, they can see the trends, right? Like these things are increasing and they will be increasing as the time goes on. So all of these people, they made websites and whatnot and whatnot. And then they are selling all kind of nonsense to people. Like there are 24 Mukhi being sold to people. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Can you explain what a Mukhi is for the folks that are watching, and maybe the irregularity that's out there from like a pricing perspective? Like, are people getting scammed?
All right. So before, if you go 5 or 10 years back then, right, no one was wearing Rudraksh. All right. If you tell someone to wear Rudraksh, whatever, man, I don't want it. All right. Nowadays, if you see every other online person, they are saying, oh, this much Rudraksh. Basically, Rudraksh is like a small bird. It is known as that it is a teardrop of Lord Shiva, and it is very auspicious in Hinduism. Every Rudraksh has certain lines you can see on the, and they make certain Mukhi. Basically, 2 lines means 2 Mukhi, and 3 lines, and so on, so on, so on. Every Rudraksh has a particular deity or a devata which is associated with it, and a particular kind of energy. Now, that Rudraksh might not be compatible with everyone, right? Not everything is compatible with everyone, just like the gemstones. Some are good for you, some are bad for you, and some are really bad for you. So,
It's
what's
like an
going on
allergy.
now? Yeah, right. So usually you will have to need a proper guru or someone who has studied all the, Vedas and all, a proper Brahmin and all, who has studied in the parampara to tell you, okay, these are the rules for the Rudraksh, these are the mantras you have to chant, and this is the lifestyle you have to follow. And then you will get this benefits. But what is going on now is that all of these companies and all, they have, let's pick up the benefits on the first page of our website and put it there. Okay, 22 Mukhi Rudraks, 21 Mukhi Rudraks, God of wealth, Kuber. You are gonna get all of the money in the world. Just wear this Rudrak and your life will be sorted. And then they sell it for, I don't know, man, millions of rupees. They can get really expensive.
You're talking like $100,000, $200,000.
Easily, even more, I would say, even more.
Wow, for a seed.
For a seed, all right? That's not gonna do anything for you until and unless you know how to unlock the mantra and it is compatible with you. If it's not compatible, you can keep chanting, nothing will happen, all right?
Nothing will happen. So, but what's something people are paying for right now that they probably don't even need?
Like, why are you paying for Rudraksh? Why are you paying for gemstones? Why are you paying for any puja? Why don't you just go the basic old way? Why don't you just, we have all the scriptures, they are pretty open. We have all the prayers, we have all the Vedic available things here. Why don't you just use the normal things on a day-to-day basis? And even that would improve your life. You don't have to go spend $1 million to get some gemstone or a Rudraksh thinking it's gonna change my life in some major way, which a normal remedy cannot. The thing is that people are lazy, all right? They don't want to do the small, easy thing. They think all of the scriptures, the name of God. Why should I say the name of God? Give me the most powerful mantra of the God. Instead of that, if they say the name of God is going to do the same thing for you, but they think that all of the simple things that we have, they don't have power. And they think that there is some secret thing hidden, something in there, higher Mukhi Rudraksha, some form of the deity or the Devi, or some form of the gemstone that is going to give me so much more compared to all of this normal stuff. But what people should instead do is, why don't you stick with the normal stuff for at least 3 months or 6 months? You will see a big improvement in your life. You don't have to do all of this.
Yeah, if it worked like that, everybody with a credit card would be fine, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm not saying that there's no point buying all this. Yes, you should buy and you should improve your life, but the expectations need to be managed, all right? That this is not some magic cure pill or fountain of youth which is gonna make you younger or something like that.
Yeah, you should be able to inspect what you expect, right? At the end of it. Let me ask you this question. For our Western audience, some of them might be thinking we're crazy right now. When we talk about Devis and Devtas, right? Is it fair to say that what we're talking about is, if you look at God as a universal presence, doesn't matter if it's Shiva, if it's Jesus, if it's Yahweh, it doesn't matter. The Devis and Devtas are like different energies of the same source. So you might have like a fierce source or a loving source or a motherly source or maybe an innocent childish source or artistic source. Like all those elements that human beings have, we are also saying God has them, but since they're so powerful, you can worship them independently.
Yes, you are pretty much right. I would say that you can worship Hades, you can worship Jesus, you can worship any Hindu god. They are all pretty much the same because they're coming from the same source. But what you need to understand is that all of these are real, all right? They are not like we're talking about some imaginary things here. We have no power. Because if there was no power, if you cannot use the energy, why would all of these people do any sadhana? If there was no point, if you just had to take the, God's name, then we wouldn't have this much people using all of this to make the changes in the world. Because all of this works, that's why we have all of this, all right? Because it is proven again and again in our shastras and in real life and in multiple examples that all of this do work. But in the end, as you mentioned, yes, that all of this are the kind of the same thing, originating from the same thing. Well, you might call it the person something else, we might call it something else, but the energy is kind of the same thing.
So, how do you tell the difference between someone who actually knows what they're doing and someone who just sounds convincing?
All right. If someone knows what they're doing, they would not be on internet, all right? They are not interested at all. Like if I knew all of this, all right, if I had some one-on-one connection with the God, like we are talking right now, why would I be wasting my time here? Why would I be wasting my time in any of the reading for 5,000 rupees? In fact, I'll be gone from this world in some other dimension, God knows what, all right? Other thing is that you need to see, is this person there for money? Like what is there for this person to gain? Why this person is speaking here? You can say the same about me, in fact. And so for the other people's like, what is the motive here? Like if you see any online astrologer, any online pujari, any online sadhak selling you XYZ yantra, why would he give you the Kuber mantra to get millions of dollars for 5,000 rupees and talking with you, wasting his time instead of doing it himself? All right. So yeah, you have to be very careful with this kind of people. But I mean, I don't mean to say there are no genuine people out there, but you have to be very careful this time because as these things are increasing and a lot of people are new to these things, you don't have the understanding. So you meet any normal person nowadays because everything is on the internet. Like you can put a chat GPT or Claude and you can get pretty much everything out there, and you can be a self-proclaimed guru. So you need to understand that the person who is speaking to you, it needs to have some credibility. They need to have their guru, their parampara, and you need to know what they are coming for. They are not some, random person on the internet who one day decided to go on Chat GPT and learn some couple things and started writing blogs.
So now someone's listening and they're thinking, okay, well, so who do I trust?
Well, only way is that uh, you go to some people, all right, you employ what they practice or like what they preach. You go and then you apply to your life. See if it's helping you. See if it's making changes. Again, don't lie to yourself. You are open to listen to anyone. But again, this is also a form of dopamine where, I'm listening to this and this and this, and I'm getting so much information and this feels so good. But it's not going to change my life. What's the point? You need to actually see behind all of these forecasters and all the nonsense that's going on. Is this actually helping me improve my life? Or am I watching as a form of entertainment? All right. Regarding the trusting part is again, you cannot trust anyone other than yourself and other than the practical results that you got. All right. Any astrologer, any tantra, anything, you had to see and apply in your life. If it is working for you, then it is real. If it's not working, if some online guy says it, that's some bullshit. All right. You don't have to believe it.
Because right now it feels like confidence is doing most of the work, right?
Sorry?
People are just,
Yes.
it seems like confidence is just doing most of the work. Like people are getting data
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're just repeating it and really just, charging people thousands of dollars for something that they absolutely don't need. So if someone comes to you, what do you actually do for them?
Well, first and foremost, I don't want to be bothered. All right. I have my own sadhanas. I have my own things to do. I don't have time. But obviously, I also run an astrology practice, so I do take clients, but I'm also selective. It's not like you are only coming to me. I had to check whether I can take you as a client or not. There are certain things that come into it. If you want me to expand into it, I can let me know.
Yeah, I mean, how do they decide what they need? How do you decide what they need versus what they just want?
All right. So there are, I think, two or three categories of people that come to me, I would say. First and foremost, oh, can you please help me do Vashikaran of this person or my girlfriend or XYZ? All right. These are the people, they don't understand what the spirituality is, what the astrology is, what the Tantra is. And they just think that doing Vashikaran is like, oh, done. And if you pay me 5,000, I'm going to do it for you. Nonsense. All right. These are the first kind of people. They are very easy to deal with. You just tell them no, and that's the end of story. Second kind of the people, they have the genuine problem. They do come to you. All right. But now the problem is that you cannot take everyone's chart. Any good astrologer will do something which is known as a Prashna chart. For people who don't know what a Prashna chart is, it's a technique to check whether I can take this person as a client or not. Now, why do you need to check? Let's say that some politician is coming to me to get the charts checked. All right. And I tell them, okay, there is an opportunity to make some black money or something during this particular month. As an astrologer, I should tell them, right, whatever there is. And that person makes up a bridge or something using the black money, using the, bad materials. And that bridge collapses after a year and 100 people are dead. So as an astrologer, I told him that, okay, there is some opportunity to this. And due to that, it led to the death of 100 people. So I become a partaker in the death of 100 people. So I get all of that karma to myself. Similarly, if someone does something good because of me, I also get a part of that good karma. So ideally, as an astrologer, when you are checking hundreds of different charts a day or something, you have to be selective that you are only checking the karma of the good people and not the bad people. Now, obviously, you cannot avoid all of the bad people, right? Those people also need your help. In that case, what happens is that you have to take the fee from the people. So nowadays, I understand that people are charging, thousands and thousands, even hundreds of thousands of rupees to do one reading of the people and all, which I'm okay with. All right, if you want to pay, if someone wants to pay you, that's fine. But what's the logic behind paying your astrologer? The logic is that in the old time, people they did not pay the astrologer. They would take some fruits or something rather than the payment. Nowadays, why do we need to take the money? Is let's say that you are a random person. I'm checking your karma and I told you something to change your karma. By doing so, I'm also taking a small form of your karma into my own life because I'm trying to help you. So to offset that karma, I would have to do my own sadhana. And the sadhana will require some amount of time of my life. So I'm basically asking you to pay me for my time to do the sadhana, which I'll have to do because of your chat. All right. This is normal understanding, but if you go to any apps and something, you will see people are paying and people are taking hundreds of chant. There is no such a thing as using the Prashna Kundling. Unless you are obviously a very good astrologer, people don't use all of this. All right. So I have to be very selective who I'm taking. If I can take them because I have to manage my own life and such. So I cannot be taking hundreds of people of karmas. Let's say someone is doing 4 or 5 hours of sadhana a day, and then you are doing all of this nonsense. Then what's the point of your sadhana if you're accumulating so much karmas here? Makes sense?
So you're saying that in order to shield yourself from that person's, let's say, negativity, like their negative aspirations, you have to be more spiritually aligned with the universe, and for that takes your time commitment. So therefore you need to get paid something. So how do you decide what they need versus what they just want?
All right. Usually you just check the chart and you usually can know, any good astrologer will know, like how many person is lying and what is there actually and what kind of the person is there. Some people, as I said, they just want shortcuts. I usually don't give them unless I think, okay, this guy generally needs something. It's not like I'm trying to gatekeep here, but answer is that there is genuinely nothing, all right? Nothing you can buy or something that's going to magically change your life. That's the real answer here. You can guide the people and they will have to take certain small steps to change their life according to Vedic astrology or according to sadhana. But that is not some way where, you take all of your life problems, you are going to some astrologer and you are expecting that that person is going to fix your whole life within half an hour of session. That's not going to happen. That can take maybe 20 or 30 years if you are under a very proper guru. Even then, there is no guarantee.
So I've seen this, or at least in the forums that you belong to. You have a big following, and you're telling people not to buy something, which feels backwards in most businesses. Why?
Like, all right, same thing, right? Like, someone buys a gemstone, breaks their leg just fine. I have seen it firsthand happening to people, all right? So one of my friend bought her, what you call it, Blue Sapphire, which is a gemstone for Saturn, all right? And you have to be very careful when wearing it. I had told him not to wear it. I think he got it from his family member or something who was also an astrologer, and then he put it on. And then he was visiting me in India, and the guy fell on the stairs on the back of his spine, and he was hospitalized. All right, so same thing, right? You think one comment online, what difference is gonna make? But someone might buy that gemstone because you are commenting, oh, Blue Sapphire changed my life. So now, because of you, that person is buying. All right. So you are also responsible. So everything you have to be very careful what you are suggesting people, what you are telling people. Obviously, people might think, okay, all of this astrologer, they are telling all of this, they are making hundreds of thousands of dollars on daily basis, and their life is pretty fine. So what's the point, right? So you have to understand that astrology, we are believing that you are reincarnating every life, right? You're accumulating more karma, then you're dying, then you're taking a rebirth. So you might think, oh, this guy's doing so good. He's selling all kind of gemstones. His life is so good. He's scamming people, but the karma will catch him. Maybe not now, maybe not in 10 years, but it will. And when it does, it will be very bad.
So honestly, isn't exactly the most profitable strategy. Good to know. You know, I got to ask you, the people out there that come to you and say, "Hey, I already know what I want. I want this stone or I want that stone." You know, if someone said, "Hey, I want to buy a ruby and I want the biggest one possible," and you can make $50,000 from them, would you do it, or would you have to say, "Listen, I can't."
I will tell him, man, go to someone else, please. All right. I don't want to be involved in this in any form of way. I mean, I will check the chart, obviously, if they pay me. And I will say, if the rupee is compatible, I can tell them, hey, man, you don't have to spend $50,000, all right? Maybe if your work is being done by $1,000, why do you want to spend $50,000? Why don't you go and donate the money or do something good for people, all right? Or, you know, go on a trip, go Hawaii, enjoy your life, all right? You don't have to spend all that money. You can spend 1,000, you can spend 2,000, what is required for you. In the end, it's not like, as I mentioned, I mean, if you are a billionaire, feel free to buy a $50,000 rupee. But if you are a middle class person, like everyone here in India, usually you don't want to tell people something that ruins their life. Like, let's say I tell them, okay, buy the rupee, everything is in your life is sorted. That guy might spend his 5 years savings on buying a rupee, all right,
Hmm.
and then nothing happens. Maybe his heart is bad or something, and then for the rest of his life, not only him, but even his children will be cursing me that, okay, this guy stole the ruby. And because of him, our downfall is happening here. So there is very specific things that you have to keep in mind while you are suggesting clients. And if you are, like, as I said, anyone who's genuinely into Tantra, spirituality, or anything, they do not want to take on your karma, all right? So they would ideally try to go either in some way where is a middle ground or some way where they are not taking advantage of you because they don't want it coming back to them down the line.
So the real practitioners are very concerned about what kind of karma they're putting out there in the world.
Yes. Like someone who is there for money, they wouldn't care about any of this. They will sell you whatever you want, all right? But
Hmm.
someone who is actually doing the sadhana, they are very careful because what am I spending my 5 hours a day for? Why am I chanting the mantra just to waste all of that energy and the good karma that I'm getting on some stupid nonsense of 50,000 rupees, right? What's the point? So yes, ideally it is best if you find a sadhak who is an astrologer, because then there is certain ethical dilemma in their mind where, I cannot cheat people and then I'm gonna go to the Devi or the deity and be like, oh, I'm so good, please bless me.
Hmm. So what kind of person should come to you?
I mean, ideally, anyone should come to you or come to me, all right. But it's just that don't expect me to, be some magical Baba or some guru or something who's gonna solve everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can help you guide. I can help you select the best gemstone, help you select the best Rudraksha and all. But most of my even clients, if you ask them, most of the times I give them very simple remedy, like do the donation of this thing, like do donation of food on these days, or do fasting on these days, or do this very simple mantras or something. Gemstone is saying, even in the astrology that we have by the great saint Parashar, even by him it is said that this thing at the very end of the things. They said like you try 5 different things first, all right? Your problems are not of the level 5, then you don't have to go to level 5. You can start it out very easily with the other things. Obviously, if you want it as a, in general to improve your life and all, that is fine. I will help you. But in general, I'm not the person who you should come to where, get me the best gemstone, get me something like this or that, that will, make me an emperor or something. That's not gonna happen. I do also
So
help
the
the people with but with the spiritual problems or, like people who might be having any ghosts and black magic and all. But that's again a very big fraud ongoing here
Can you expand on that?
for sure. So what's going on is people like they would do sadhana for one day, all right, 1 day or 2 day, and then they would see, oh, I'm seeing spirits. The air is blowing. Oh, this is a sign, all right. Nothing should happen, and nothing will happen for you at least till you are doing like 6 months or 1 year or 10 years of sadhana, all right. This is mm, fucking bullshit, all right, to be honest. Because all of this, nothing happens. You are doing sadhana for one day, and there's this yogi in the Himalayan cave doing for 20 years, and he's not getting anything. And you think, oh, you are some very big avatar of the god that you are doing sadhana for one day, and everything is changing for you. All right. Other thing is people think that there's someone has done black magic on me. Someone has done Vashikaran on me. Someone has put an evil on me. I understand that all of these things are real, but they are not like, some very big thing where I need to go to some tantric to remove the black magic, to remove the evil eye. This is all stupid and nonsense, and people are making money off you. There is no such thing as black magic for 99% of people. 99 of the percent of people, usually if you tell them some random bullshit, like, I would tell them, okay, you know what? Take some lemon, throw it on the Western direction in the morning, just to give them something as a placebo effect. And within 2 days, they're like, I feel so good. In the first place, because nothing was going on to with you, all right? There are genuine places, but 99% they are just in your mind, all right? Because of all of these things you're looking online, you think that something is going on to you. But you are not a millionaire. Why would anyone do something to you? And all of these things, as I have mentioned earlier, they require certain amount of skills. So you would have to probably be a big sadhak or something. You have to do sadhana for 15, 20 years to get any of the skill. And why would that person use all of their power to do on you for some 5 or 10,000 rupees? What's the point? So you have to understand that any black magic and all of this nonsense, if you are doing any form of normal sadhana, it won't affect you. Just stop paying for all the nonsense of the black magic removal and this and that.
So my understanding has always been that Hinduism functions on three things that align, that are ways to get to God, to connect with the Holy Spirit. One is mantra, one is tantra, and the other one's yantra, right? Seems like all of these have been manipulated to have nothing to do with gaining enlightenment. Now people think tantra is witchcraft or black magic, which it's not, right? It's just a way of formally praying, or like, a specification, advanced level of praying, I would say.
Yeah, pretty much you can say that the tantra is like a specific practice or the way to get something done. Let's say I want to worship this deity for this particular goal. What is the best way to get it done? Then there are a system of processes that you follow, which have been tested again and again, and they have been proven to be true. That is a tantra where I'm going to follow a very specific system of practices to worship the deity. All right.
Hmm.
Tantra can also involve other things, but they are the very side things that people are making the main thing that, oh, Vashikaran and this and that and whatnot. But mainly all the Tantra is that you are using a specific system to worship the deity in a specific way. That's basically it.
That's interesting. So, I'm gonna have your information on here if you're okay with it. But if someone wants to reach you, like, where should they go? Like, what's the process?
I think you can reach out to my website, I guess, the tantricastro.com. That's the easiest way to reach me. I think I have my WhatsApp there and my Google and all that. Obviously, please don't reach out for any Vashikara and all. I'm not interested. All right. But regarding astrology and all, because I'm interested in the field and all that, yeah, I'm sure you can reach out for that.
So I've watched how you operate, man, and you're not trying to sell people things that they don't need, and that's rare. If there's one takeaway I think I have, is that this is not a shortcut, and if you treat it like one, you're probably not gonna like the outcome.
But obviously, I
In
understand the people have genuine difficulty, all right? And most of the time is because of the planets in the charts and all that, not some current of black magic. So in that case, yes, go to astrologer, get some help, and include that help in your lifestyle. But this is not some shortcut as you have mentioned.
So for our Western audience that might be somewhat familiar with astrology or Western astrology, what have you noticed is like a big difference between what they're teaching or what they're believing in on that side of the globe or this side of the globe for me versus what's happening in South Asia for you?
So again, big difference, but both of them are very advanced, all right. But it's just that amount of people that are knowing the basic amount of Vedic astrology, they are, I would say, much advanced compared to the Western counterparts. Because Vedic astrology goes really deep and it has really some interesting stuff and it was in depth for thousands of years, all right. Western astrology, it also has its own advanced parts, all right. But compared to the Asian parts, they don't have many people who know that level of mastery. Unless and until you reach that, you won't be able to predict properly. Compared to that, in the Vedic astrology, even someone who has learned for, I would say, a week can predict very good for you, all right? Even someone who knows basic, it will be able to predict your life up to a certain extent in a very good, accurate manner. So that's the main difference. And Vedic astrology, it deals with, in general, astrology was never meant to be used how we are using it these days, all right? These days, people use astrology, oh, when am I going to get a job? When am I going to get married? Initially, the astrology was given to us by the sage Parashara and other rishi as a form of the karmic blueprint. That okay, you have been reincarnating so many times in your so on journey. This is where you stand. This is your bank balance, all right? These are the mistakes that you have been repeating across the lifetimes, and now you have to make sure that you don't repeat it again. So that you can go toward liberation or moksha, whatever you want to call it. But what people are using it for is, oh, when am I going to get a job? When am I going to get a girlfriend? I mean, that is fine, but the use of the astrology was supposed to be to fix your karma. It is a tool to fix your bad karmas from your past life that you are carrying. And how do you fix them? You fix them to Tantra, Mantra, Yantra, Sadhanas, good deeds, all of those things.
So let's go back to what you said earlier for just a minute. You had mentioned that gurus, right? So are you being taught by someone? Are you practicing under somebody? How does someone know, like, hey, this guy is the real thing? Like, he's not
Oh,
just some
yes.
guy that just read books.
Yes. So I have learned astrology from my guru, other than my own studies from all the books and all. There is only so much you can learn from the books, all right? You have to be under guru because they have learned from their guru and they have learned from their own guru and all right? And then it comes from a whole lineage. So there are still secrets and all that you get from the lineage and all right? So I don't want to mention my guru sampradaya because I don't want to involve them in anything here, all right? And I don't want my guru to be bothered about anything. But yes, I have another guru and I have been learning under him, and I'm still learning probably lifelong under him.
That's great. And how long have you been like under someone versus like independently when you first started like researching yourself?
So I would say probably I've been studying astro for like 10 years or something. But if I have to say, when I started with my guru, I would probably say around 21 or 2022. But I have started my consultations properly in, I would say, 2025 when my guru allowed me to. All right.
Okay, got
You
it.
need that. You need that kind of the benchmark where your guru says, okay, yeah, you can go and consult other people and all. I'm not saying that everyone needs a guru, all right?
Mhm.
There are very good astrologers who are self-learned and who are very good. But ideally, when it comes to legitimacy and all, you want to get someone who has established Guru Parampara or learn under someone. If not, find someone who has a proven practical track record or go to astro. Let them first predict things about your life. Let them predict the events. Let them predict the timeline. If they are right, then you can go ahead. That's what's the point.
So your guru's not ChatGPT, right? Like that's not his.
No, unfortunately, my guru doesn't even speak English, so that's out of question.
So so if someone, so you're doing a consultation, do you like consult with your guru and go, "Hey, this is a situation, like am I on the right track?" Like is that
Oh
something
yeah,
that
absolutely,
that's often?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, well, many cases, like specifically when we're dealing with black magic or certain people, they have certain entities in their home and whatnot. Like I feel like okay, I can help this guy, but if I go to my guruji, he might be able to help me in a better way than I ever can. So I will take the charge to them. Sometimes even in gemstones, even though I'm pretty good at it now, I would say, but still, in certain charts where I have even a little bit of doubt, I would take a second opinion because I don't want to, mess up someone's life. It's rather to not give something bad to someone rather than trying to improve it because at least they are here. They won't go more down listening to me rather than improving. So yes, I want to make sure of certain things. Yes, I'm still in touch on daily basis with him, but in general, day to day, because again, people are more concerned about their marriage and all and all. For this thing, it is
Hmm.
not necessary, but If there is something more paranormal or, something very shady ongoing, then yes.
So what about when they talk about energization, right? I wanted to touch back on this with the Rudraksha thing, and because
Yes.
this is like out of control now when you're online. People are charging. First off, they're charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for these, the beats themselves, and no doubt, like there is value there. There are some collector editions, I would say, that are rarer to maybe find, but they're charging just about the same to energize them, right? And my understanding after talking to you is you don't need all that. You literally need water.
All right. So thing is that energizing is totally sham. All right. You don't need that. And probably how you're seeing it online, I think, is that the person will probably, take a bunch of Rudraks, all right? You will put some random Rudraks there, and there'll be five people doing the mantras for whatever, and you will think, oh, it is my Rudraks. And they're probably sending the video to 100 other people. You never know, all right?
Hmm.
I'm not questioning these people, all right? But the problem is that even if you energize, Rudraks is not something that you once energize and you wear for lifetime. No, you have to do the daily sadhana. You have to do the daily mantra for it to help you. Because as I mentioned, every Rudraksh has a devata, every Rudraksh has a proper mantra and all. Unless and until you know the mantras, unless until you know the devatas, energizers is not going to do anything, all right? And it is so simple to energize a Rudraksh. Why are you paying someone else to do it? In fact, if I'm wearing the Rudraksh, I should be the one to do it. Why would I need someone else? Obviously, if you have a very legitimate guru who has been doing the sadhana for many years, then he's trying to put his power into the Rudraksh for you. That's a different matter. But why would you give it to some random pujari instead of taking it home? It's very simple and it's everywhere online, all right? You can find it. It's not some astro science or something. So you can find it very easily and you can energize by yourself and wear it yourself. What's the big deal here? I don't understand.
And it's simple, like the energization.
But here's the thing, right? That people need to understand. You have to do the mantra of the Rudraksh that you are buying on daily basis. Because if you are not, then that Rudraksh is not going to do anything for you.
Hmm. Yeah, then it's just money spent on something that probably wasn't supposed to be in your life anyway. So a lot of folks that I talk to in on forums and things like that, or even like family members, everyone's under a big misconception that like you should have the 21 Mukhi, the 19 Mukhi, the 18 Mukhi, right? I mean, first off, which ones are safe? And second, which ones are like not required? Because the Shiv Purana, from what I understand, only mentions 1 to 14, and I can't find anything else anywhere about anything beyond that.
Yes. So 1 to 40 Mukhi is all a normal person would need. As I mentioned earlier, even among 1 to 40 Mukhi, you only need the one that is specific for you. All right. I mean, there are mantras to wear any Mukhi Rudraks, but you don't want to go there. All right. Why don't you wear what is there already in your astrological chart? You can
Hmm.
check this on the basis of astrology, like what is suitable for me. Up to 1 to 40 Mukhi, they are safe to be worn, as I mentioned, other than certain ones, with my other guy's example who bought the 6 Mukhi Rudraksh and got in trouble. But in general, 1 to 14 Mukhi, they are for normal people like you and me. All right. From the 15th Mukhi, we get into something which is known as the Mahavidya. Obviously, very famous here. I don't think we need an introduction of what the Mahavidyas and all everywhere on the internet at this point. But from 15 Mukhi and forward, you get all the Mahavidyas. Why do you want to get that energy in your home? And as I mentioned earlier, that each Rudraksh has a particular mantra and a devta. Do you know the mantra of the Mahavidyas? Do you know the devta of all of the 15, 16 Mukhis and all that? If not, what's the point of getting them? These are for the people who are insanely spiritual and it won't help you in this world. It is more of in the other realms and people who are going to other lokas and whatnot to protect them and all. It is for those kind of things. If you are a collector, yes, go for it. But as a normal person, this is not going to help you by any means. All right. So just because you have a higher Mukhi Rudraksh does not mean that it is useful for you. In fact, stop paying for higher Mukhi Rudraksh. It won't do anything for you, all right? The people can, websites can name it the Kuber Rudraksh or the Kalbera Rudraksh or this or that. It's all nonsense, to be honest, and it's not going to help you in any way by wearing it.
So let me ask you this: what should I'm assuming like they get more expensive as the higher Mukhis? Is that how it works, or is that not the case? You know,
They do.
so. when you get to 14, right? What's really like the maximum someone should be paying for something like that, in your opinion?
Depends, right? Like when you are starting at four and there's logistics costing on their own, but I would say 40 Mukhi, that is where we stop basically. I mean, you can go to 15, all right? 15 is suitable for certain people, but not more
Hmm.
than 15. That's it. That's it, where I draw the line for people, right? 15 Mukhi, I would say probably around, I would say 100,000 rupee maximum,
Okay.
all right?
Okay. So 1,000 American
Maximum.
dollars,
Sorry?
like a thousand
Around
American
1,000.
dollars.
Yeah, around 1,000, all right? Any more than that is pretty much shady shit going on, all right? You don't need to pay that much.
That's good to know. What about the folks that are selling like the combinations, like the malas and everything?
All right. So again, all of this is kind of nonsense. There is no proper shastric way or anywhere where it is given where, if you wear this combination, this is gonna have fun and that. It is all man-made. It is all marketing. People are trying to make the money. I don't blame them for making the money. All right, go for it. I don't mind. But as a customer, as I mentioned, do you have the mantras? Do you know how to energize it? Do you know how to wear it? Do you know the lifestyle? If yes, are you able to follow the lifestyle which comes with all 1 to 4 in Mukhi you are wearing? If the answer is no to any of this, then maybe you are better off investing in gemstones. Gemstones don't require so much lifestyle changes, all right? They don't require any, to be honest. So these are better off rather than the Rudraksh. Because once you go in Rudraksh, it is in the more of the Tantra and all, where you have to do the mantras and all right?
Okay. So anything else you want to add that you think people should know?
As I said, all of these are shiny things and new things for a lot of Western people and also a lot of Indian people because they're coming out now and it's all marketing. So be very, very careful. Do your proper research, all right? Just because something is expensive doesn't mean that it is going to help you. Many a time, the solutions are very cheap and very simple. You don't have to spend all that, all right? And if you are a collector, if you are a spiritual enthusiast, go for it, but make sure you do the proper research. All right. I will try to upload some maybe videos on gemstones and all on my website down the line so that people at least know what they're buying, right? They don't buy the wrong things. If I get the time, that is. But that is on my to do list, I guess. But other than that, one last thing I will mention in regards to everything is that you don't need to be so pure. You don't need to be, where I need to be so pure to do mantra. Or I need to be so stop eating meat to worship this, or I need to this. Don't worry about any of this. This is at the higher level that it comes. And you don't have to wait to get to the higher level. You can start, you can get the benefits, you can get the advantages and everything. You just have to start. The only limitations are it's not like God is coming there and telling you, hey, you cannot do this, or you are impure, or this. I don't think God even cares about any of this, all right? God is very gracious. So you don't need to have worry about it. Just start the thing rather than going into all the propaganda of oh this and this and this and this and this. I'm not this caste and I'm not, Indian or I'm not that or so on, so on. Maybe that God won't listen to me. It's not like that. All right.
You, one final thing I'm going to say, and you can respond to this, but what would you say to all these new age, folks around the world that are all of a sudden, not from the Hinduism side, I'm talking like more on the Western side that are now like selling jewels and selling this and put this in your pocket for luck and blah 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 blah. Like, first off, most of those stones are probably not real, but second off, like it makes me uneasy, like because growing up in Hinduism, we've always known that all the elements of the world influence a person. It's like your environment either makes you or it hurts you, Like if you have a clean home, your mind's probably going to be clean. So if you have a stone that's not supposed to be there and you have it inside your house, it's only going to cause like negativity. Almost like feng shui, right? From the Chinese side. What message would you have for people in the West that are like selling this stuff or they're you know, seeing that it's on Etsy and they can make a quick profit.
All right. You cannot stop these people. All right. There is nothing you can do. All right. Every era, every decade, there will be something new thing. There will be something that comes out of the tantras or something that someone will find and it will get famous. Only thing as we people who are into all this, as a people who are responsible by some way that we are involved, is that we can teach the people, we can educate the people rather than say anything against the seller. Well, you cannot stop people from selling, but at least you can stop people from buying by giving them proper information and knowledge. All right. I believe that people have proper, genuine information and all. And I hope that maybe one day we can make it openly available for people. that, okay, this is some actual thing here. This is the actual information. So they don't get scanned by some nonsense, all right? At least that we can do in our way to help everyone.
Yeah, I think that's great because in New York, I feel like every two streets there's a new psychic that's selling gemstone. It's like the craziest thing. And it's concerning, man. It's like you said, some people go to these people and they become nuts. They get so freaked out, and there's so much garbage put into their head that they can't like participate in real life anymore. Based on what we're talking about, that's not the goal of all this. The goal is to connect more in spirituality.
So yeah, man, I mean, as the time goes, it will increase, unfortunately, but so can we increase our try to educate people more on those things. So hopefully we can get there someday.
All right. Appreciate you coming on. We'll see you guys next time. This is I Know a Guy.